Yo guys, what is going on? Got a blue source strip, source control deck profile for you guys today. This is a very fun deck revolving around cards like Zeedgarumon, like Reclusimon, as well as Shakumon to stun your opponent and be able to just get rid of any pesky inherited effects right off the bat. So this is kind of a relatively budget profile, or at least I will discuss some budget alternatives for you guys who don't really want to spend too much on this deck because a lot of it is comprised of commons and rares. But let's go ahead and get into the profile. So for the Digiex for the level 2s, I'm playing 3 copies of Bukamon as well as 2 copies of Upamon. I really like this spread because both of these guys do different things. So Bukamon lets you trash a material off of a level 4 lower Digimon, so he is a more proactive card and he is the one who actually helps facilitate your plays. And then Upamon is the one that if your opponent controls a Digimon without material, you get to draw 1 card. So that helps you gain advantage off of your opponent's board state, off of the effects that you have that can control their source materials. So I really like this spread. If you don't have access to Upamons, I would recommend just playing 4 copies of Bukamon, and because I do think these two are the best blue Digi eggs as of the BT4 format. But yeah, I really like this 3-2 spread for the Digi eggs. For the level 3 Digimon, I'm playing 4 copies of Gomamon. This is the promo Gomamon that lets you gain 1 memory every single time your opponent loses a material off of one of their Digimon. So basically, anytime you resolve one of your effects, that does the trashing for you. So this is a very, very powerful card. I almost think it's an essential card come BT5 when we get Hexablaumon, and that will make this deck even more powerful. So this is kind of a precursor to that, and once we do get BT5 in the English format, I think being able to incorporate Hexablaw will be very important, as well as Sora and Joe, like the Dual Tamer card. But for now, Gomamon is a very, very powerful card, and I do realize this card is a little bit hard to get, so if you don't have access to him, I would recommend swapping him out with the BT1 Gomamon, the one that has the inherited effect of on deletion gain +1 memory. But if you do have access to this guy, he's very, very good because being able to gain a memory every single time you trash something, especially because you are playing multiple copies of Bukamon, basically guarantees that whenever you attack, you will end up trashing one of your opponent's source materials. So then for the other level 4s, I'm playing 4 copies of BT1 Gabumon. This guy is just a fantastic draw engine, basically a staple in most blue decks. So he will help you cycle through your deck and just unbreak your hands. Sometimes if you don't draw a rookie, or if he's the only rookie in your hand, you can just play him, draw a card, and get set up for the couple of following turns. So I think he's really fantastic, especially again come BT5 when we do get the Nokia Shiramine Tamer card. So then for the other level 4s, I'm playing 4 copies of the starter deck Gabumon. This guy, similar to Bukamon, helps you be proactive in your plays and helps you remove a material off of one of your opponent's Digimon. So he actually specifies level 5 or lower, so that's slightly better. But if you do have both in your attacking Digimon, that can be a potential 2 cards stripped away from your opponent's Digimon, which is pretty powerful. I also do think he's good because of the fact he's a Gabumon, and like I mentioned, we will be getting Nokia soon. And then for the last couple of rookies here, I'm just playing 2 copies of Starter Deck 2, Starter Deck Gomamon. This is the Sandcastle one. Basically just a 2-drop rookie, so this could be basically anything, so long as it's a 2 cost. But yeah, that is the rookie lineup. For the level 4s, I'm playing 4 copies of your blocker Grizzlymon. Again, this is the only blocker we currently have access to, and blockers are just very, very important in the Digimon TCG because they prevent your opponent from making their huge plays, they prevent them from going for a game, and they can just save you a game. So I do think blockers are still essential, hence why I'm playing the 4 copies of Grizzlymon. And then for the other level 4s, I'm playing 4 copies of Ikakumon. You could also play, I believe it is Star Deck, BT2 Angemon, the blue Angemon, has a pretty similar effect. Ikakumon says when attacking, trash the top Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon, but Angemon, I believe, says trash the bottom. So pretty similar effects, but I do think this effect, being able to trash the top, is very, very powerful because usually, like, for example, if your opponent is Digivolving into like a level 6 or level 7 Digimon, they have a very powerful guy on field. This will get rid of pretty much the best inherited effect because those really, really powerful effects come in at like around the level 4 and level 5 levels. So being able to get rid of some level 5 Digimon on your opponent's stack is pretty nice. And then the 5 play cost is actually not too bad. Angemon is a 4 play cost. However, I believe he is a little bit lower DP, so that is just a trade-off you can decide to make. And then similarly, I am playing 3 copies of Tobyumon. You could definitely play Gorillamon instead. The only difference being that Tobyumon is also a 3 play cost, so that makes him very, very cost effective. Basically a Repamon for the deck. However, he is also a 1 evolution cost. The only downside would be his 3000 DP stat line. This is definitely hindered by the fact that War Growlmon exists, and War Growlmon gets to reduce something by 4000, so that could potentially just kill this right off the bat. But Gorillamon is immune to that because he does have 6000 DP, so that's a trade-off. Again, I prefer Tobyumon because in most situations he is better, especially because he has a 3 play cost as well. But that is it for the level 4s. For the level 5s, we have quite a varied lineup, so I'm playing, of course, first of all, 3 copies of Shakuamon. Shakuamon is really good because he basically stuns your opponent because he gives security attack -1 to anything that does not have a material. He does actually evolve from a blue Digimon, so hence why I'm playing a yellow card in a blue deck. So just absolutely fantastic card. And then for the other ultimates, I'm playing 2 copies of Mach Galgamon. Mach Galgamon is very good for multiple reasons. One, he is able to Digiburst 2 and get rid of any level 4 lower Digimon on your opponent's side of the field. Just bounce them back to hand. So being able to get rid of blockers and push for game is actually really, really important. So this guy's fantastic. And then, of course, if you do have a blue Tamer on field, you give one of your level 6 or higher Digimon plus 2000 DP, so which can come in handy many times, especially because some of the Digimon I'm playing for the level 6 lineup are not particularly strong, so that really helps out. And then for the others, I'm playing 2 copies of Zudomon. Zudomon has a great on-play ability, so if you do end up bricking, that's really nice to just play him from hand. And then, of course, his inherited effect when attacking, if your opponent controls something without sources, you get to gain 1 memory. So that's not actually once per turn, by the way, which is pretty sweet. So if you somehow have a way to make your dude attack twice, that can come in clutch. So really, really fantastic effect there. And then lastly, just playing 2 copies of Marine Chimeramon. This guy works so well in this deck, being able to just return any Digimon without materials from your side of the field, or from your opponent's side of the field to their hand, which is not level restricted, so that can be a level 5 or 6 or 7, and just being able to, gain advantage and push for game, being able to return your opponent's powerful Digimon and just set up your own board is just so fantastic. This works really well with some of the Tamer cards I'm also playing in this deck, and I will get to that later. But yeah, that is it for the level 5 lineup. For the level 6s, I'm playing 3 copies of Zeed Garurumon. He is really fantastic because for only a 4 cost, well, I guess 4 cost is pretty hefty, but he is also 12,000. You get to activate his when Digivolving effect. So Digiburst 2, you get to return one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon to the hand. So level 5 is a pretty important threshold. It can get rid of lots of problem Digimon like Lady Devimon or Pyldramon and lots of things like that are very powerful. Of course, returning to the hand is not nearly as good as deleting them, but blue does return to the hand quite a lot. And then, of course, you get to just get rid of their whole evolution stack. So that is really nice. I think he's a pretty fantastic card. And then to kind of go with that, I'm playing another source control card, which is 3 copies of Reclusimon, or Regil, I don't know how to say his name, or whatever you guys want to call him, Regulusmon. So this guy lets you, when attacking, trash the bottom Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon, and then if you do, you get to trigger draw 1 and gain a memory, so that is really fantastic. He is only 11,000, but if you are, stacking him on top of something like Mach Galgamon, you get to put him at 12,000, or sorry, 13, and then if you stack him on something like Zudomon, you get to gain 2 memory instead of 1 if your opponent does have a dude without material. So that is just really fantastic. I think he is a pretty sweet card. And then lastly, to round off the level 6 count, just 1 tech copy of Metal Seadramon. Metal Seadramon doesn't really see a lot of play, but for good reasons. He's not like the best one of the Dark Masters, but when you play him from hand for the 11 cost, you get to return 2 level 4 or lower Digimon from your opponent's field to their hand. So that can kind of save you games if your opponent does have a lot of dudes on field. They're just trying to push for a game, maybe against like some sort of rookie rush strategy. That can be pretty important. Not only that, but when he is attacking during your turn, your opponent cannot block him if that blocker has no Digivolution card. So that is just absolutely fantastic, being able to not only get rid of Digimon, but then be able to push for game without being hindered. So that was a really nice effect right there. And then for the level 7s, I'm just playing 2 copies of Omnimon. Omnimon, of course, is a very fantastic card. Don't really need to talk about why this card's so good, being able to not only delete anything when he hits the board, but then, of course, being able to recycle any of these very powerful level 6s, being able to trigger Zigurumon again, or being able to play Metal Seedramon from your hand again is pretty fantastic. If you do not have access to Omnimons, I'd recommend playing an extra level 6 because I am only playing 7 right now, so probably another copy of one of these 2 Digimon right here. And then as well as that, I would also throw in a 4th copy of Hammer Spark because I'm actually only playing 3 in this list. But so that is going to do it for the Digimon. For the option cards and for the Tamers, I'm playing a pretty simple lineup, so just 3 copies of Matt Ishida. He is really fantastic. This is the BT1 Matt, where basically whenever you play a blue Digimon, you get to suspend him to trash a Digivolution card from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. This works super well with Marine Chimeramon because they both trigger at the same time. You can choose the order of resolution, so play Marine Chimeramon from your hand and then suspend him to trash material, and then use Marine Chimeramon to return any Digimon without materials to your opponent's hand. So I really like the interaction, and then of course starting with 3 memory is really important. And then 1 copy of Joe Kido, just because I think he can, gain you advantage pretty quickly in this deck. Being able to gain a memory every single time you trash a Digivolution source is just an absolutely fantastic effect. And then lastly, just 3 copies of Hammer Spark, pretty standard. This guy is great when you play him as well as in security. I did take out the 4th copy for the Joe, but again, like I said, if you do not have access to Omnimons, I'd recommend playing a 4th copy of this, or you could possibly even play another copy of Joe. It's totally up to you. So that is going to do it for the profile. So guys, that is going to do it for the profile. Let me know if you did enjoy this deck, if you have any suggestions for a blue source control deck. But anyways, guys, hope you did enjoy. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.